The following episode of the Maui Chamber of Commerce's Business Matters was originally broadcast on April 30th, 2024.
It's time now for Business Matters, brought to you by the Maui Chamber of Commerce. And now, here's your host, the president of the Maui Chamber of Commerce, Pam Toonpop. Good morning, Pam.
Good morning, Gary.
How are you doing today?
I am excellent. How are you?
I'm doing excellent also. Wait, I couldn't hear you there.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. I just had to turn my headphones up.
Oh, okay, good. Little technical testing this morning.
Yes.
Well, good morning to all who are listening. Thank you for joining us this morning for Business Matters. I'm Pamela Toonpop, president of the Maui Chamber of Commerce, and we're so glad to have you with us this morning. Today, we're going to talk with Sheryl Matsuoka, executive director of the Hawai'i Restaurant Association, where we're going to hear more about the current trends of the industry and some of the recent news of restaurant closures within the state of Hawaii. I also want to give you an update. We've got so many programs going on that I'll be giving you an update today on the U.S. Chamber of Commerce Amex American Express grant opportunity. We're going to talk about the latest with the SBA Idle Loan Program and the upcoming deadline everybody should be aware of. We're going to talk to you about the new CLEAR program at the Kahului Airport. And just remind everybody about the upcoming Made in Maui County Festival. But this morning, we're so thrilled to have a returning guest. She's always gracious to be on our show, Sheryl Matsuoka, Executive Director of the Hawai'i Restaurant Association. Sheryl has over 4 decades of invaluable business and leadership experience. She is a dedicated force in the food service industry in Hawaii and a strong advocate. Her unwavering commitment to the restaurant community is truly exceptional as she steers a dynamic network of influential leaders who are collectively shaping the future of Hawaii's culinary landscape. Beyond her professional endeavors, Sheryl and her husband have deep-rooted ties to the restaurant industry. Her husband, a third-generation restaurateur, and Sheryl herself are investors in 4 remarkable restaurants located on the vibrant island of Oahu. They include Guyukaku and Rainbow Drive-In. And Sheryl also has a passion for the culinary arts, and her extensive experience make her an indispensable figure in Hawaii's food service industry, and her commitment to its growth and success are truly unmatched, navigating through Great Recession, through COVID, through so much more. And helping Maui restaurants as they have been navigating through, of course, the aftermath of the wildfires. So, Sheryl, it is such an honor and great blessing to have you with us this morning. Good morning, and how are you doing this morning?
Good morning, Pam. I'm doing great, and thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity to share with all of your listeners exactly what's going on right now in the food service industry on all islands.
Yes, it's been a journey again. Coming out of COVID, we were starting to see things turn around, and you know, for Maui, of course, we were starting to really get to rebuilding, but people were still struggling. We still have loans and things that were going on that linger from COVID, and now, you know, how are the restaurants doing on Maui? And then I'd love to hear also how are things going statewide.
Well, on Maui, you know, we were almost at 9 months since the Maui wildfire, and I have had an opportunity. We just recently had a expo show over at the Blaisdell Center on Oahu, where I did meet with a lot of Maui restaurateurs who flew over to come and attend the expo to find out, you know, what is going on in the community, the latest, greatest new technology, AI, how are things being used in restaurants. And as you mentioned, you know, funds, money, right? Yes. As they still have loans outstanding, and how do they now maneuver through this, and how long is it going to take? Right? Many of them have decided to go outside of the Lahaina area and expand. And unfortunately, Pam, you know, a handful has decided that it's time to close their doors and get out of the food service industry and retire.
Yeah. Yeah, we saw that. I remember, and I think you and I, again, with the long history, the history really counts when it comes to disasters, because I remember going through the Great Recession and people, in all industries, that, boy, this was really brutal. And they were thinking of retiring, but they held on. Then COVID came, and again, it was just very brutal, and we lost some. They said, well, I hung up through the recession, but now's my time. And then on Maui, of course, with the wildfires, we're just seeing more say, okay, this is definitely the time now.
Exactly.
To take in. Yeah.
Exactly. They're saying, how many more battles, right? So they just throw it in the hollow and close the door. And as you know, Pam, because you are such an advocate for our food service industry, when a restaurant closes their door, the impact to our community, especially our food service community, such as our farmers, now when a restaurant closed their door, that farmer lost a very important client, and they cannot now supply that restaurant. So the impact when a restaurant closes their door is huge.
Yeah, it really is. We just before the show we were talking to about specialty crops and for example like the taro farmers and or those providing luau leaf and really specialty items. When you had a restaurant that was using a lot of that, to find a replacement source to pick that up is really challenging. I do know the state has been making a lot of inroads into trying to work with the food programs with the Department of Education. And we've been finding that to be a little slow going.
Yes.
And I think I mean really kind when I say slow going.
Yes. And as you know, right, the Department of Education and many of our other state agencies are huge consumers of food products, right? So such as our schools. And so that is how can I say this? Like, that would be a really great opportunity for our farmers, right, to be able to supply the Department of Education or our hospitals or the large agencies within our state and counties.
Yeah. Yeah. It could be a great lifeline. So for those of you who are, would be interested in seeing that, join us in championing that movement. It's been an ongoing movement. It was a movement, I think, that goes back to, again, the Great Recession and continues through COVID and everything.
Exactly.
But it's also one of those systems that can be more flexible because they make the menus and they have opportunities to shift some things.
Exactly, and they can design their menus around the local what the local farmers are growing, and that is one of the beauties of it. And it's fresh and it's convenient and yeah,
it's so true. Well, how is the rest of the state doing?
Well, how is the state faring? I beg your pardon. Can you?
I said how are they faring as we've still seen a lag on Oahu and the numbers for Japanese visitors and Maui, of course, we've seen just a lag with the wildfire. How's the rest of the state faring?
Well, as you know, Golden Week just passed, and I've been hearing reports from the restaurants that are in those tourist-driven areas. Our tourism numbers of Golden Week was not so golden, Pam.
Okay.
And we did not see that Japanese visitor number return the way it was pre-pandemic. And so that has been it's been very challenging for those areas. And as you mentioned, when you reached out to me yesterday and said, let's talk about restaurants closing recently. And we are seeing, especially, one of the indicators for restaurants is when their lease is up, Pam. They have to make a decision. Are they going to sign up for another 10 years and commit, knowing that right now all of our costs have gone up, right? And so that break-even point has now risen because of the high cost of rent and utilities, labor, supplies, all operational costs have risen. So that break-even point number now goes up, and then you have to determine, do I sign for another 10 years?
Right.
Or do I go?
It's a long period that I think is different, really, for the restaurant industry than other industries. You know, for retail and others, it's a considerably long period for them.
Exactly. Especially because the build out, when you make an investment and you put in all of the things that you need, such as a grill and an oven and a fryer and freezers and all the things that you need, it's a huger expense. It's a larger expense. And so then you have to really think about, you know, if I have to update my kitchen and update all my appliances and sign a 10-year lease, re-sign it. Is it worth it?
Yeah, it's been really tough here on Maui, especially with just the demand, given the tremendous loss in Lahaina, given the demand for other retail space, as we've seen other people pivot and lease rents going up extraordinarily here.
And the restaurants are weighing that, right? When the lease rents go up, they already know our labor costs are very high. All the supply and operational costs have risen. Utilities have risen, insurance. And so with all of that, you know, they have to really consider, gosh, do I really sign that next 10-year lease?
Yeah. It's a big it's a big ask, guys. Every day I'm dealing with people who are having to really assess, you know, month by month, even when they're not looking at a big thing like a lease renewal. They're still just every day trying to say, okay, how can we continue to hold on, and to know then, you know, if you see something for that period of time, like that's a lot of planning out and a lot of projections and you know, a lot of hope and prayers that go into that as you start thinking forward and trying to, you know, as we know, restaurant owners, of course, are the business owners, but they're also trying to save a whole team. And the people I talk to every day are so worried about, you know, if we scale back, if we close certain days, then our people are underemployed. If we close it all, they're unemployed. Unemployment isn't what it was during COVID. We don't have those extended grace periods that we had. And, you know, there's just so many things that people are, you know, fresh, top of mind, fresh on their plate as they're trying to make these very tough decisions. So for those of you listening, you can help because, you know, one of the ways that we can help is make a special night. You know, I know, you know, our community too is recognizing prices are going up for restaurants and when we're struggling here in Maui, things can be a little bit tougher, but make a special night. Do something special with family and friends. Help a restaurant out. You know, visit your favorite restaurant and show them a little love and support. And I promise you they'll be showing you a lot of love and support because they're so appreciative and deeply appreciate the local community.
Yes, Pam. And, you know, it was our local community. It was the local communities in the areas of the restaurants that really helped the restaurants during the pandemic. And we have also seen that recently since, you know, August 8th, since the wildfires, that's just the local community that comes into the restaurant and says, hey, you know, we just want to help out by ordering a takeout or whatever they can do. And all of that is so greatly appreciated. Even just, you know, them walking in and giving the restaurant an opportunity to see people coming in, it just like brightens their day.
Yeah. I think it's a simple thing you can do, and it's you know, I know everybody's doing with tighter budgets, but they look so appreciated, and we're at that. I mean, we've been at that time, but it's just still such a very tough time for those who are really, really struggling, and our visitors just have not come back. I know here in Maui, Sheryl, everybody was really hoping for March, as we had seen coming out of COVID, and now everybody's sort of hoping for June. You know, we're now kind of moving on and waiting to see what are you seeing on the horizon for the future of the industry?
We definitely, unfortunately, we don't see the Asian market coming back, but we're hoping for a great summer where, families come back and visit our islands. And please, many parts of Maui are still open, as we mentioned, Pam, Kihei, Kaanapali, they're all still open. So hoping that they'll stop over and support our island of Maui.
Yeah. Well, we're really grateful. And, as you point out, people don't realize, and it's so hard to say. And I'm always surprised by what visitors will say to me, because when they get here, and of course, they're heartbroken, and they're coming here because they want to support the island and they want to give back. And when they drive through Lahaina town, their heart breaks. And then when they get to Kaanapali, they just didn't realize that it looks untouched. It looks like they remember it.
Yeah.
And Kaanapali and Kapalua, and then of course we are hearing from many new people who often, because the west side was just such a gem and Lahaina town was one of our crown jewels, they'll say, gosh, we never ventured out to South Maui. And they're finding new places that they love and cherish out there, and we're finding some are, venturing out and exploring other parts of the island and really getting into some of the regenerative tourism models. And of course, one of the restaurants that was so beloved in Lahaina was a vegan restaurant called Moku Root. And she had bought the old chart house in Lahaina, which unfortunately she had bought it just before the wildfires, which burned down, and had given notice on her lease. And so she's pivoting in new ways, doing some amazing dinner experience, dining experiences, and people should check out their website. So some are pivoting in new ways and being found in new ways. But, we're all working to get really creative. We too are hoping and praying that June brings those numbers up. There's still so many ways that people can just get involved and share. And again, also want to remind you, as we were pointing out, another great way to help out is also to support your local farmers. Go to farmers market too, and remember, when you're in the grocery stores, you have choices on what produce you purchase. So buy local, support the local farmers, because everything trickles down. It's it's a sustainability model. We're all intertwined, and we all rely on each other when times are tough to shore everybody up, which is what we saw with the amazing hubs that formed immediately to respond to Lahaina. But this is going to be a longer haul than we're all finding, and the numbers are slower. So how are some of the other neighbor islands doing, Sheryl? How are, like, Big Island? I know Oahu. Well, I think Big Island and Oahu have always really gotten a pretty significant bump from Golden Week. Maui, I know, gets a little bit, but not the same. Don't know about Kauai. How are Kauai doing at Big Island?
Yes, the restaurants in Kauai have kind of reported back to me, the businesses, restaurants and the businesses, that it's like they're in their own little pocket, and they're just seeing business as usual. Life goes on, everything is okay. Of course, like anything else, they are also experiencing the rising costs, of labor and supplies and operational costs. But other than that, not a huge, they're just going along, and the community supporting and understands that due to the rising costs of everything and operations, that their plate lunch might be a little bit higher than before and what they remember, and that a can of soda pop is a little bit more, and it's just they just move along. On Oahu, as we had 3 Outbacks close up a few months ago, and a couple of long time the restaurants, Hawai'i Hawaiian, Chichan, Kazuya, and Kaneohe, after 21 years, they all, and the trend there with those restaurants are, again, the lease is coming to an end, and they have to say, after all these years, and we're getting to be that certain age that we think we're just going to slow it down. One of my favorite restaurants over there on Maui was the Kihei restaurant, Eskimo Candy Seafood Market and Cafe. They closed up in 2023.
Yeah.
It's been a year. And, like for them too, after 20 years, that's a long run for a restaurant, and they're enjoying their retirement and their grandchildren. And that you'll see as a trend, especially those long-time restaurants. So, we encourage the next generation of, culinary superstars to open up their restaurant and make a name for themselves.
Well, I will say this. I was very excited as we have purchased some farmland and plan on doing some farming, that my daughter was on Hawai'i and just loved Hanapepe and loved some of the local restaurants that she saw there, and came home and she's thinking about it. She's very inspired.
Oh, that is awesome.
It's hard to get kids home, and on the mainland when they've got careers and can buy houses for so much less. But with a new opportunity for farming and a new opportunity on farmland, you can have a small restaurant. It's really nice that we found new ways to broaden ag uses to sustain the farms, especially in times like this, and to have a use that also allows them to create, a new small restaurant, and serve food on the farm. So this is one of the models that we're really trying to help promote during these times, because it's a great way for our youth who are going through an awesome culinary program at UHMC to expand and look for new ways to get out, and farmers to be able to help sustain their farm. So it's exciting. So my fingers are crossed. We'll see, because she's an awesome cook, and we don't know. We'll see. Time will tell. But, there's so many great ways to do smaller operations and find some unique spots, I think. And, of course, we've seen a burgeoning food truck industry here that every time I turn around, it's just growing by leaps and bounds. And what I'm always surprised is how many of the restaurants are also doing food trucks to pivot.
Yes, just to pivot, especially, those restaurateurs that, lost their brick and mortar in the wildfire. You're right. Yeah. Food truck is a great option. And as you mentioned, if anything we learned out of the pandemic and what's going on in the world is food sustainability. So I am so excited that your daughter is even considering, right, the farming and a small restaurant and providing food on the island. That is so wonderful, Pam. So wonderful. Please let her know if there's any support that the Hawaii Restaurant Association can give her. Let us know.
Oh, I will tell her. She will. She will love that. She's actually a teacher by trade and is teaching long distance this morning over the internet, which is interesting, which we can now do in Hawaii, and awesome.
Yes.
But those opportunities also allow, our returning children to come home, and I don't want to say youth because many times they're grown up at this point, but allow them to come home and have different careers here, and in her case, have a career and still be able to look at some of those other opportunities despite the sheer timing of when she can work, which is really fascinating.
Yes.
And what are some of the things? Go ahead, I'm sorry, Sheryl.
The Hawaii Restaurant Association Educational Foundation has two culinary programs. It's called the Pro Start in Maui High School, and King K. I can never say this sometime. King Kekaliki.
King Kekaliki, yes. You did great.
Kekaliki, yes, and they have it's a 2-year program. Juniors and seniors in high school start learning culinary, right? All the basics, food safe handling, knife skills, all the different things that they need to know. And they come out so inspired and just so, making something from scratch and creating a wonderful dish. It's just very exciting. One of the students over in Maui actually won a scholarship this year. And so we will be, supporting his future culinary education, which is what the Educational Foundation is all about.
Well, that's tremendous, and I'm so glad to hear that. And I don't think we've ever talked about that before, so I'm really glad to know about that. Tinky
send you an email.
The road for me.
Yeah, I'll send you an email on those two high schools. They are just the things they're doing there at the high school level, preparing the students for the culinary industry or, travel industry management in general, right? So It's very exciting.
It is very exciting. What other kinds of things can we do to support the industry right now, to support the future growth of the industry? I do know some of our restaurateurs now have gotten into some of their own local manufacturing, now productizing some of their famous food products, their sauces and different things. How else can we continue to help and spur their sustainability?
Exactly what we talked about earlier, the community, just, reaching out to the restaurateurs and helping them, even if it's a social media post sometimes, Pam, it just gets out the word that we're still in business. Our doors are still open. These are the menu items that we're having. A takeout would be wonderful. And as you mentioned, many of the restaurateurs has pivoted to other things such as food trucks and also providing packaged food items, sauces, dressings, helping them that way. And sometimes it's even just the social media post really help a positive Yelp review. One of the meetings that we've scheduled is a post-legislative session, coffee hour, on Monday, May 20th. And this is going to be an opportunity for, our Maui restaurant members to hear directly from our Maui legislators all the recovery legislation that passed during this current session. It hasn't ended yet, but this current session. So it'll be scheduled for Monday, May 20th. Thanking all of our legislators to listening to what our restaurants are going through and understanding the current situation is so appreciated.
It was a really rough session for all of them. I mean, to have, as a biennium session, they had a lot of bills that crossed over from the last session. We were tracking 400 bills, and of the bills we were tracking, I mean, just the volume of bills specifically related to the wildfire situation in different arenas, everything from infrastructure to how we move forward to planning to, recovery efforts and putting funds away for a rainy day to ensure that we can, have funds should anything happen again, not just here in Maui, but statewide, looking at shoring up fire systems, new helicopters, bodies who might make decisions and who can make those decisions and what decisions can they make. And I mean, it was a really remarkable session. So I know we've got one coming up a little later in May, but it's really, I think that's a wonderful thing that you're doing because especially this year, the volume of bills that it has to go through and the urgency, given the funding needs, and let's not forget, what happened with Red Hill as well, and that, we're still dealing with some of the Red Hill issues, and rail. So much they had to go through this year that I really want to commend them, and I'm glad that you're meeting with them to let your members hear all that they've been, that they did listen and hear all the things they tried and explored, because there were so many bills just trying to find the right answer, crossing over, different boundaries, but people coming up with different ideas to have to work through and then kind of ferret out which of, 10 bills relating to the exact same thing should make it out. What were the best ideas and how did they combine that and get something meaningful out? It was really amazing.
Yes, and so, having this post-legislative coffee hour is going to be very, it's just open dialogue, right, for the our Hawaii Restaurant Association restaurateur members to speak directly to them in a face-to-face, and of course we'll have Zoom capability too, but in a face-to-face, hearing from them directly why they voted a certain way and why it passed. It's going to be very, very educational.
It really is. It really is. Well, Sheryl, I want to thank you for all you do. You are always on the front lines advocating for the Restaurant Association, as well as many other important causes. We we value you and appreciate you, and do I know all your members. And we appreciate your time today to be on our show and share with us all the things going on in the Restaurant Association.
And thank you to you, Pam, for always giving us an opportunity to share with your listeners, what the restaurant industry is going through and how they can support, and you and your friendship, your friendship. Pam and I started this relationship right around just before the pandemic, and little did we get even closer, to be, soul sisters here in this whole fight. So we're not giving up, right, Pam? We're just going to keep fighting for our businesses and for the island and for our communities.
Yes, that's so true. We can count on each other. We're in diehard.
Yes, always. You can always count on me. Always. Absolutely.
Oh, thank you so much, Sheryl. I value your friendship too. It's nice when we have two like spirits that can commiserate and then press through.
Absolutely.
Oh, well, you have a beautiful day. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pam. You have a beautiful day too. Mahalo.
Thank you. Aloha. Oh, it's always so great to have Sheryl on the show. We really see the connection to the visitor industry and how much having a visitor industry has allowed us to expand. The sheer connection and size of the industries that have been created around the industry to support, from restaurants to retail to activities. So many people have been employed by the visitor industry. It's always an interesting dynamic to look back and think, okay, well, how did the visitor industry get started? And my understanding is, there were so few jobs outside of agriculture back in the 60s and the early 70s, where they started looking at new ways to have an income, to have diverse jobs in different areas. We talk a lot about STEM jobs today, and a lot of those jobs, especially a lot of the engineering jobs that we have through the visitor industry, are wonderful jobs. The industry has brought in higher wages, has diverse skill sets that are needed in the industry. And as we look to diversify, forward, as we look to our sustainability, it's also important to remember what we have in this industry and how they sustain, as Sheryl said, our farming community, the restaurant community. Of course, they give back so much to our nonprofit community as well. And so we're, right now, that industry is very connected to, our lifeblood and so many jobs as people are looking to get back to work. And right now, as the industry is hurting during this time, are dealing also with issues of not having the same amount of hours. Businesses are struggling just to keep their doors open. So anything that we can do to help and support, we certainly want to do. This morning, I wanted to share, because there are so many things going on that are coming up. We've got some deadlines coming up, and so I wanted to just make sure that everybody is aware of deadlines and what's happening, because tomorrow is a really important deadline. So May 1st, we have been working with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce Foundation on a Maui Small Business Recovery Grant Program, which was developed in partnership with American Express. And it's purely to support Maui-based small businesses impacted by the devastating wildfires in last August. And the program provides $5,000 grants and business coaching to 100 eligible small businesses to help them rebuild and grow their business. So there is some criteria which I wanted to share with you. It's pretty broad, but they are looking for small businesses. So if you are an independent contractor and it's just you and your business, that doesn't qualify for this program. But the business must employ between 3 and 20 individuals, which includes the owners. So if you're a sole proprietor, but you have yourself and 2 others working for you, and even if you might have them as contract work, but they regularly work for you, we're looking for 3 to 20 individuals employed by the company. You have to have at least one physical or online business location that was established prior to August 1st, 2023. So many businesses have also pivoted during this time, but had an online presence, and maybe we're seeing some of those who lost their physical location build upon their website. So as long as you had a website and have an online presence, you can qualify for this. And we encourage everybody to apply. If you've incurred any financial loss due to the wildfires and have a related financial need. So it's really easy, but there are some terms and conditions. There's added coaching where you'll get to build some relationships with phenomenal people who can help in this realm, help you take your business to the next level, help you look at considering how to just pivot. What are some of the things you're up against? What are some of the choices? We often see in times like these, and even, the accountants will say sometimes some of the businesses come in with a shoebox of expenses, and we have to help them sort it out because they're so busy running their business. But now's that time to get some additional help where people can look through what your business is doing, help you analyze some of your financial situations, help you look at new opportunities, help you look at pivot opportunities, and also help you look at maybe some of the tough calls that might need to be made to help survive during these times. So we want to encourage you. I'm going to read you the link to help you connect to the application, but I'll make it easier in a moment. The link is, if you've got a pen and paper, now's the time to pull that out. If you have not yet applied, we have close to 900 businesses who've already applied. So there's still time. They will be randomly selected because they know there's a lot of need here in this community. So the address, though, the URL is https://usc.foundation/49HUCXO. Now, you can also just go to mauichamber.com. There's a huge link on the beginning of our website. You can go there and click on through. We do want you to read the terms and conditions first, so you'll make sure that before you get into the application, you meet some of that criteria I just mentioned. You have until Wednesday, May 1st at 11:59 p.m. To get your application in, 11:59 p.m. HDT. So make sure that you get your application in. Also, if you have any questions, you can reach out to the U.S. Chamber of Commerce Foundation, and their email is much simpler. It's resilience, the word resilience, at uschamber.com. So resilience at uschamber.com. We want everybody who has a business that has been impacted by the wildfire. This is strictly for small businesses. It's not for all businesses. It's also not for other needs like housing or rent or any of that. It is strictly for small businesses with between 3 and 20 individuals. So we encourage you to take advantage of that and look into that program. The other thing that is coming up is, and I'll share some of the work that we've been doing, is the SBA Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program. And the deadline to apply is May 10th. So I want to talk a little bit about this. We've talked a little bit about it before, but now the deadline is May 10th. So we're at the end of April here, and we're moving into May quickly. This is, when the wildfires hit, we've worked with so many businesses, and because the wildfires hit, and we were still coming out of COVID, so many of our businesses, our small businesses, have idle loans already. And when you go through something like this, and you've been devastated by it, it's really tough to see some of the light through the tree. You've lost so much. And in some cases, people have lost, they've lost their business, they've lost their home, they've lost their loved ones, they've lost a pet. They've gone through so much. And they're trying to figure out how to pivot. And one of the amazing things about this program is, a lot of people say we can't take on any more debt. We're struggling to look at how we're going to restart, but they need the money to restart because they can't take on any more debt. So one of the beautiful things about this program is, first, if you apply by May 10th and you go through the process, and there's a process, it takes time to get, go through loan approval and go through the process. When you're awarded a loan amount, if you're awarded a loan amount, they can't guarantee that, of course, because we're not the underwriters. But if you go through the process and you're awarded a loan amount, you have 6 months to decide whether you want to take that or not. So imagine if you're one of those restaurants looking at a 10-year lease, and it's going to come up in that 6 months. It gives you time to really evaluate things before you even commit to taking the loan. Okay. Then, if you say, yes, I'm going to take the loan, you have another 12 months. Once you take the loan, once the money is in your bank account, you have another 12 months to use it as you see fit, all of it or a part of it, or, if you're really worried about, I've got this other debt, you've got 12 months before there's any interest payment or accrued, before any interest is accrued or payment due or any loan payment due. So it's like an 18-month insurance policy. And I mention this because these are times when people need to really understand the process, look at where they're at, come to us at the Maui Chamber of Commerce, go to Wayne Wong at the Small Business Development Center, go to the SBA, ask a bunch of questions. The program is really here to help. Now, I will say this, there's been a high level of frustration because there was a technology change and a portal issue. So as documentation was coming in during our wildfires, and since then, and as other disasters have come up across the country, there's been this portal issue, which has had a lot of people frustrated. Some people had to, reapply, resubmit the documents during times when they're highly stressed. And some things have gotten stuck. And we'll just be really honest about it. Some things have gotten stuck, and the SBA, through the listening sessions we had, realized that. So to fix it, the administrator, Isabel Guzman, said, what we're going to do is we're going to create like a concierge service where we're going to walk people through. We're going to have people on our team working with us at the Maui Chamber of Commerce to help get those loans through and get a review. The loan applications are needing to get reviewed. And we've had some great successes over the last couple of weeks, getting some businesses some funding, getting them unstuck from the loan application process, getting them award amounts. They're not necessarily through the whole process, but once you've been given an award, it's just a matter of time. There's some things that maybe you need to buy a little bit more insurance, and maybe you need to record a lien on the property, which is very common, again, on bigger loans. There's usually 2 options that they've been offering people. So, recognizing that some people may not want to put up their assets as collateral and get a lien. Again, very common on a high-end loan that the banks require as well. But they also give you another option, which is a lower amount or what you would qualify without a lien. So there's some flexible options there. And again, we don't know if we don't try. The other thing that I was surprised by when we had a listening session with Isabel Guzman, the administrator, was that, here in Hawaii, we've seen devastation across our island, with hurricanes and our volcano erupting and of course now the wildfires and other fires in the past. But this one really taking us to new heights of devastation. And what we haven't often recognized is that areas like Florida, who's gone through hurricane after hurricane, many businesses there have more than one idle loan. And when you do have these idle loans, we heard that some folks, because they're staggered over 30 years, we learned that some people in some very, intense disaster regions might have 4 or 5 consecutive loans over different periods of time. And the SBA works with you to help manage these situations and works with you during these times. Now, because of some of the hiccups, a lot of people have said, I just give up. I'm tired. I can't do it anymore. It's a lot to keep going through over and over again and to not hear back or to have it get stuck. Well, we're here to help. And we're here to help support you through that. We're working with businesses that we reach out to every couple of days because they're going to know if it moves forward or not. They have to check their portal. And they have to be open when we're expediting them to take, calls from different area codes they're not familiar with, because the SBA has people like the loan departments in Texas, and they have people in different departments who are working for them. And they don't necessarily know that unless they answer the call. But we're here to help you get unstuck if you're stuck. And we're here to help you take advantage of this possibility of an 18-month program where you can be in control and decide if you make the application and get it, the application is accepted, so that you get a loan process review. So if we can help you, call us at 244-0081 or email us at office@mauichamber.com. You can also look on our website. We have a link. You can put in your loan number and some basic information. We cannot look up the portal, but I have a gentleman who with a big heart, and he does recovery work, and he understands business and has been a former banker, and his name is Sheryl. He's way up there in the SBA, and he has been our designated person to help expedite these loans. And he, one by one with me, we are connecting every couple of days, and we're in constant contact all the time, reaching out to the ones that we're working on to push through to get them answers. Because sometimes you just need an answer. Sometimes you need to know if you could get a bigger loan. You might just have to do 1 or 2 small or very reasonable things that would be required of any other loan, and you can get through. And sometimes if the answer is a no for a particular reason, then at least we know that it's a no, and then we can work on other ways to help people pivot so that they're not just lingering, waiting for an answer. So if you've had a loan application in, and if you're within a 2-week period, if you just applied and you're within a 2-week period, that doesn't mean you're stuck here. But if it goes beyond 2 weeks, just call us. Just call us. We'll have you register on our list, which means that you're on the list that we give to the SBA to say, we need help checking on this. We need to expedite this and check on this. But if you're just within 2 weeks, give it a few more days, maybe call us next week. If you've had something in for over a month and have not heard back, and unfortunately we've had some people in for several months and have not heard back, don't wait. Absolutely don't wait. Call us today, and we will help work on it. Wanted to also let you know about some exciting things happening today. I will be, after the show, heading down to the airport because Clear has a new program. They joined the Maui Chamber of Commerce over a year ago, and were telling us about the exciting launch of their new signature identity verification technology, which is beginning today at the Kahului Airport. So travel from to and from Maui, it's so important to our local economy. And we are grateful that they're adding Maui first, from all of the airports in Hawaii to other national and international airport locations, arenas, and stadiums. So Clear provides a new opportunity for streamlined security at the airport, and they expect this new launch to create 33 jobs, generate approximately $2.1 million annually to our local economy in economic impact. And we love the collaboration between Clear and Hawaiian Airlines, which is another great community partner of ours. to offer preferential pricing, which you get preferential pricing on Clear Plus membership. So we're excited today to go down to the Kahului Airport, see how it all works, see how they're looking to streamline the check-in process, and learn more about it. But I'm sure you'll see great press on that coming out soon. But we're thrilled to have them here. They've been working on this for a very long time, and we're glad to be a part of that blessing. And then lastly, it is time where we are gearing up for the 11th annual Hawaiian Airlines Made in Maui County Festival. And we will be doing that again at the Maui Arts and Cultural Center this year on November 1st and 2nd. So who should be listening to me right now would be any local manufacturer whose product is 51% value added in Maui County, business headquarters in Maui County, 51% value added in Hawaii. Your business does have to be headquartered in Maui County. We're looking for Maui County businesses. But you might buy, say, packaging or, jars for your jams and jelly or supplies in Hawaii. That still counts as part of the valuation, of course, in addition to all of your great manufacturing process locally done. And to the extent it can be locally done. And so this is a two-day event. It is the largest show in Maui County that is dedicated to local products and for those who produce made in Maui County products. And last year, even though our visitor count was low, we had the community come out in full force to support local manufacturers.
1 minute, Pam.
Thank you, Gary. We're so grateful to be doing it again. Applications are available now. We've seen about 100 applications come in for 140 vendor spots. So register early, get your application in because the deadline is coming up. So we want everybody to get out and apply. The deadline is June 28, 2024 at 4:30 p.m. And we hope to see you there and have you apply for this because it's going to be another great year. Well, it goes quickly. That's all the time I have for today's Business Matters program, sponsored by the Maui Chamber of Commerce. I'm the President, Pamela Timpop, Maui of the Chamber of Commerce. And just invite you to tune in next Tuesday. And if we can be of service, don't hesitate to give you a call. Give us a call, excuse me. So please give us a call. And I wanted to send blessings and aloha for a beautiful Maui day. Here we go.